So I read that you studied music technology in college. What does that mean exactly?
So I moved to the US to study music and went to FIU to get my degree in music technology because it was the only thing that I could find that would fit, but like a music production kind of program, because that's what I wanted to go for school for. But it was a music degree, so I didn't want to do like the generic arts or fine arts, and
Yeah.
so then the music technology was what caught my attention, which is everything around recording, music production. You still have to be proficient in an instrument. You still have juries and,
Oh,
and some
wow.
bowls that you have to join. So it's a music degree, but we focus on the whole technology and the recording part.
So technology like means production and audio engineering and like I didn't know if that meant I don't like I went to UC Berkeley to study jazz piano performance and there was like a sister program, SynMat, that was like designing a synthesis and a synthesizer and things like that. So I didn't know if it was beyond production or not.
There was some very avant-garde approach to it. Like our final project was to create a sound installation. Like you have like an art installation that is interactive with the medium, and ours was a sound installation. So what I did was, we pretty much got this the microphones, like what you use a doorbell, and we deconstructed it and used as a mic to hang on leaves of like on the palm trees, and we created a digital wind chimes, and that was
No
actually one of
way.
the projects that was awarded. It was like wind, like
That
this
is
little
so
microphones hanging
sick.
between the leaves, and that would be routed to a computer, and it would go to Max MSP, and then there we would like trigger the contact of the leaves to create this sound and create like this. So there was some
Oh,
different
that's so cool. Okay, I was wondering
approaches.
how heady it got, or yeah, how avant-garde.
Yeah,
Is did they teach in what DAW did you learn like in a specific DAW, or was it more generalized production?
it was Pro Tools most for the
It was Pro
most
Tools.
part, but I knew Ableton back then as well. I think we had some like one semester that we had an approach with Ableton, which is what I use nowadays, and it
Yeah,
was Max MSP. I don't know if you're familiar with Max
yeah,
MSP. Just
yeah.
very
Wow,
programming heavy, which is not what I love, but it was cool to explore.
that is awesome. It sounds like a really cool program. I think that I would. I
Yeah.
mean, I what I would have given um, to been paying attention to production at that time. I kick myself all the time. Like, oh man, it was right next door to me, and I was just like, nah, I don't want anything to do with that. So good for you.
Can never
Tell me
know
about
those things.
yeah. Tell me about the New World Symphony project that you did. That sounded amazing. 80 musicians that you got to work with.
Yeah, that's like a proud moment for me. So
Yeah.
there's the New York Symphony. It's this amazing orchestra in Miami that they recruit musicians from all over the world once they are done with their studies to go there before they go to a major orchestra. And a lot of them have scholarships. It's just very, very amazing musicians, very well-rounded musicians, and they had this program once a year, or maybe it was twice a year back then, where they would invite a DJ producer to create a number of pieces with them. So I was invited to perform and produce. At first, they're like, oh, I just wanting to produce a few beats, for songs that we're gonna work on together. And I went on into, like, for me, beats also means I also put a bass line, I also put a piano part, I also put like a pad, there was like a little bit more of a production on it. And what was incredible was that they utilized the piano to play the marimba, and the bass part was actually a stand-up bass, and then
No
the
way.
pads turned into the violin, and they,
Oh,
arranged the whole song to be performed by the orchestra. It was just such an amazing
oh my
experience.
gosh. And then you were you there for did you perform in the
So
orchestra with them?
I play with them a live set. I like with the orchestra. I perform live. It was a whole thing. It was the most of the beats part were coming from me. Then they did all the arrangement, and we were all, it's like a live, amazing DJ set with the orchestra.
Was it so were you running tracks through for the beats and then the orchestra was playing on top of them?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh, that is
plus live
so
keys.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Where is that? Where are they based out of? The New World
They're based in
Symphony?
Miami Beach.
Wow, that is incredible.
They
That
have
is
students from all over the world.
that is a dream come true. And there were about 80 players.
Yes.
Oh my.
And I was sold out night. It was like 2,000 people there, and they opened the seats. Yeah, it's a really cool experience. That was a prom moment.
I bet, man. I played with Pete Tong at the O2 Arena with a symphony with strings, and that was like one of the coolest goosebump moments of my life. It's so cool that you were able to play your compositions with a full orchestra. That's a really special moment. Good for you.
Yeah.
I want to hear that. How do I is there a recording of that somewhere?
I have it on YouTube.
Okay.
My boyfriend at the time held it for like 11 minutes. One of the songs, the last song was like a medley between like different Brazilian songs. The theme was also around Brazil. So yeah, I know I have that footage for sure, and I have that on YouTube.
When was this?
2018.
Wow, that is so special.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I can't wait to listen to that. So I would love to hear about your live setup. Do you always, is it always live, or do you ever just DJ?
It's funny you ask that, because this year, the past 6 months, I've been carrying my mini synthesizer with me. It's a Roland Ju A6A that is like this mini version. Okay. So I've been bringing that to all my DJ gigs. Like this weekend was supposed to be a DJ gig. I brought it, and Marquee, I played on Friday. I brought it, so I'm bringing everywhere with me now.
How do you have that routed? Like
I just go to one of the channels.
Into one of the mixer channels?
Yes, straight up. So
okay,
I do that. But normally for the live set, I have the North Stage 2, 3, whatever I can find, but North Stage. And then the Boss, I don't know if you're familiar with the RC 505. It's this looper that a lot of people use for vocals. So I'm using that more for like the effects, and if I need to like loop something on top. And then the North Stage, the Boss RCI 505, and the Juno. I've used other stuff before. I've used like shakers and mics and like some other percussive stuff, but I'm trying to keep it more basic to this.
And then do you use all those things along with CDJs, or is it just those things?
Along with CDJs. So
okay,
that's one of my goals for this year.
Live.
Yeah, but it's one of my goals for this year. I'm gonna try to go a little bit more away from the CDJs and go into have everything on Ableton. I just feel like to be a little bit more with more of my original tracks to have that happen, and that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. So when you do use just mostly the CDJs, do you call it a DJ set, or do you differentiate those in your billing?
So I've been calling it like just it's just the DJ set, even though I have the synth. But when it's the live is when I have the keyboard. So
that's what makes it live.
Yeah.
I'm always curious how people differentiate. Because I play with the piano, but I DJ, but I just play the piano on top of it, and do you call that live? Do you call that? I think that's really interesting.
Hybrid or whatever. Yeah, some people call it different things, but
yeah, I think that's. And then in your sets, how much are you playing your original music versus mixing in other people's music?
I would say like about 40-60, like 40 original and then 60 like other people's music, and that's what I wanted to flip more this year. I have a lot of unfinished tracks. As I think we all do.
Yes, good for you.
Yeah,
good. That's a lot of starts. That's exciting. That's an exciting place to be in. So you test those out on the road more and more.
Yeah, so now I'm like, this is like, what am I doing? I just need to finish this up, test them out. So I've been testing them out and playing a lot more, and so many other tracks in the studio that I've started it. But now that's what I've been going for. Like whenever I have time at home, finish it up, test it out, not be afraid of not sounding it perfect. And once I hear it when I'm playing, and you adjust it.
Yeah, totally. And in a live setting, like people are it's okay if it's not supposed to be perfect, and like that will just pass, and so you don't have to be so particular on that. I think that's a really special place to test things out. What is your crate digging process? So for the 60% that is not your music, where do you find your tunes, and then how do you organize your tunes in your record box or whatever you're using?
So I use something that is not so typical, I think. Is not. I use iTunes, and I have all my playlists on iTunes for years. So I have
Amazing.
that in there, and it connects with Rekordbox really easily, and then I upload and I edit and do all of that. Of course, I still use Rekordbox, but I've been using iTunes for so many years,
Yeah.
and with
You
different,
organize all your music.
that's how I've been organizing, and the whole the whole like funny names that we put, like deep melodic upbeat, or the record
Yeah,
label
so
name.
that's what I'm really after. Is that how do you go by genre name, or do you go by, I've talked to people and they go by color coding, or they go by, how do you, is it by genre or vibe, energy?
It's genre, label, and vibe. So it could be a Juna Deep, after, or it could be progressive. I don't know. Like I have like the most different, like it's genres with different mix of different whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
euphoric
remind me.
sunrise. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Or even
Man,
some
that is-
club names, yeah. Because I played for Do Not
names?
Sit for many years. So like Do Not Sit Start, or Do Not Sit Closing, or whatever.
Yeah. It's like the time of energy in the room. That's a good way to organize it. Oh man, I'm always trying to figure out. I'm constantly trying to reorganize reapproach how I organize my music. And there's some gigs where I feel like, yes, I did this right, and there are other gigs where I'm like, this is a horrible way to do this. So I love.
Yeah,
love picking up
I
people's
think it
brains on
becomes
that.
very personal, right? Like when
Yeah.
when you get, it's just whatever rings the bell for you. Like, okay, I know what I can find this
Yeah.
in this playlist
Yeah.
name.
I know people who like tag, for like tag by color of the mood of the track, plus a few energy words that make them, like I'm looking for something that's bubbly and red
Yeah.
or something, and that blows my mind. That's you really have to know yourself to know how to recall it.
I do put, and I wonder if you do the same. I do check each track, even though the record box might read what key is on. I check. Man,
Oh,
check
I do
each
not.
single one. Oh, you did not.
I do not trust.
Oh, I added.
No. I do. I was gonna say I do not trust record box's keys.
Yes, exactly. So I put like
Yeah.
a little star. I've been doing this for years because before I used to have like a electronic trio, and so we played live a lot before the pandemic. So I would put like a little star, like A minor, D flat major, or
That's
like,
exactly what I do.
sure. Yeah.
Then you can also know how to I know that this is in the key of C minor, and then I know what to loop and jam on top of that just to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully I can use my ears, but in this setting that I used to trust record box, and I have been screwed a few times, so I stopped doing
I've
that.
never
Yeah.
trusted.
I definitely
never trusted.
That is smart. I also that's how I organize is by key, so that is same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to read your little intro and then ask you a few questions from there.
Mm-hmm.
You are listening to Femme House Radio with your host LP Giobbi, and this week we have French-Brazilian music producer, pianist, and live act Ella Romand. She combines the rhythms of her home country, Brazil, with deep and melodic house in a unique way. She has played alongside Bob Moses, Lee Burridge, Bedouin, Damian Lazarus, Who Made Who, and one of my personal favorites, Rodriguez Jr. Ella, welcome to Femme House Radio. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us your origin story. How did you get into producing electronic music, coming from a classical background?
I always been a huge fan of music, of electronic music, and I moved to the US to get my music degree, and before that I was just a huge fan that moved from my small town in Brazil to like the big city, and was going out when I was still underage, like 16, 17 years old, just to listen to the music, and that was my first step into the scene. And I was studying architecture at the time, like when I was 18, whatever, and then I quit architecture because I wasn't happy there. I wanted to find something with music, but couldn't find something that was not fine arts, that would be more dedicated to music. And that's when I did a course in music production, and everyone was a DJ but me. And it was just me and another girl and a bunch of guys, and that's how I started. With the first class, I'm like, what? I can do this and like be my own orchestra and play all these instruments and put all this in the computer. And I was so excited to do that. And then from there, it's when I was like, this is what I want to do. And I looked up how could I find somewhere in the world that I could study music production. That's when I moved to the US and got into like full on producing and doing music for a living.
Incredible. Well, congratulations. You've made some really, really beautiful art. You have a lot of exciting releases planned with amazing artists for the rest of 2024. What do you want to share about those releases?
I have a ton of releases coming up that I'm very excited and proud of. I have this track with Aaron Pfeiffer, super talented, well-versed singer who released with Defected, Crosstown Rebels, a super, super talented guy. We've done a couple of live collaborations together, performing live. So I have a track with him that's coming up. I have a track with another singer called Leslie Flores that's coming up, that it's more on like the melodic Afro style. I have remixes coming up with Maya Lawson, with Paige, who's based here in Tulum. With RMA, I have, lots of exciting things coming up, plus a bunch of other originals.
Awesome. What do you look for in a collaborator?
I think you would think someone that complements you, and I think that's important, but I think more than anything is like a good vibe, like you're kind of looking for the same thing, right? Because that's how a collaboration will flow. I think if you have a good understanding with the person and you vibe and you click right away. With RMA, he saw me playing at the Deep Roots Tribe stage at We Belong Here, and we started chatting, we started talking. He's like, I'm here for a few days. I love what you do in the keys. I'd love to make a track with you, and I love his music. So, I think that the right click and the right approach, that's what makes it flow and work easily.
If you could put together your dream lineup, who would you put on the bill?
That's such a great question. I think Rufus Du Sol live. Every time I've seen them, they're so great. I'm a big fan of Mas, the Brazilian DJ.
Oh, cool.
Producer, such a talented guy. He's been blowing up. Probably seen him. Eduardo Castillo. I don't know if you've seen him live. He's also so magical. His live sets are just incredible. And he starts like with this slower BPM with the drums. He plays the keys, and sometimes he might have a singer and him singing. He's such a talented producer. The energy that he creates, Eduardo Castillo, the energy that he creates from like this slower BPM is just like, it gets your heartbeat like to like grow with it
as if there's an intro track, or like it slowly builds throughout the whole set.
It slowly builds out throughout the whole set. Ooh, and is very melodic and very like the tension and release kind of thing that he builds up. It's beautiful. Yeah. And of course you, if I could. I would love to see you like with like a singer, like with like an R&B singer, like that would be fantastic.
I would love that too. We'll offline about that. We should track together and premiere at your party. Right? Final question for you is, what advice would you give your younger self?
Start early and don't stop. I mean, no, like really. Because we've been through so much and don't realize what we want until later. But I think it's like, listen to yourself, what you really want to do, not what people are telling you for you to do. And believe in yourself, like really believe in yourself, because there's moments where people tell you one thing or other things happen and things just don't seem to move along or move forward. But once you like shut everything else down and focus on what you want for yourself, for your career, what you want to share with the world, and believe in yourself, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, you have to be your biggest cheerleader. I love that.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much,
I learned that.
Yes. We are huge fans of what you do at Femme House Radio. We truly love you. Thank you for existing and putting her out in the world and being representation for other women. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Have a good day or a good night.
Yay.